It's 2:15 a.m. when Alex's phone buzzes. A cryptic message has been sent through an encrypted chat. The screen flickers to life with a series of strange symbols and a note that sends a chill through Alex's spine. His eyes narrow. The message is brief but unsettling. "I know who you are, and I'm coming for you." Alex shakes his head, unable to shake off the uneasy feeling. He checks the sender's details. No name, just a random string of numbers. He considers ignoring it, but something tells him he can't. He opens the message again, trying to decipher the strange code that follows the words. It's not just a threat, it's a warning. Whoever sent this knows too much. He quickly scrolls through his recent contacts. Nothing stands out. No one seems to be out of place. A sudden, chilling thought crosses his mind. What if someone had been watching him? The hairs on the back of his neck rise. Alex doesn't know it yet, but this moment will change everything. The internet, which he once thought was a harmless tool, is about to pull him into its darkest corners. His phone buzzes again, this time with a follow-up message: "You should have stayed hidden." A shiver runs through his spine, and in that moment, Alex realizes he's no longer safe. He looks around his small apartment, as if expecting someone to appear from the shadows. There's no turning back now. With a deep breath, Alex pulls up his laptop and begins searching for answers, unaware of the dangerous path he's about to walk down. The game has already begun. The words on the phone screen seem to burn into Alex's mind. He feels the weight of the message pressing on him, suffocating him. "You should have stayed hidden." What does it mean? Who would send such a thing? He paces back and forth in his small apartment, his mind racing. He can't shake the feeling that he's being watched, even though the room remains eerily silent. He checks the locks on the door again, as though reassuring himself that everything is still normal. The message keeps echoing in his head. "You should have stayed hidden." Is it a warning? A threat? Or is it simply a sick joke from someone who knows too much? But how could they know so much? His heart races, and the fear creeps up on him. The idea of being monitored, controlled by someone he doesn't even know, feels almost impossible to comprehend. He grabs his laptop again, searching the message for any clues, any hidden meaning that might give him some sense of control. The cryptic symbols, the strange code, they seem to mock him, taunting him with their complexity. He wants to ignore it, to shut it down, and pretend it never happened, but deep down, Alex knows he can't. He can't let this go. There's something dangerous out there, and it's pulling him in. His phone buzzes once more, a follow-up message, this time with a location. "Find the truth before it's too late." Cold chill runs through his spine. This is no joke anymore. This is real. Alex stares at the location on his phone. Find the truth before it's too late. The words seem like a challenge, a call to action that he can't ignore. But what truth? What is this person trying to tell him? The apartment suddenly feels smaller, the walls closing in. He feels the weight of the situation pressing on him. Alex takes a deep breath, gathering his courage. He can't turn back now. He's already too deep. His eyes flick over to his laptop, the screen filled with search results, each one more obscure than the last. The rabbit hole is opening, and it's pulling him further down. He starts searching for the location mentioned in the message. It's a small, seemingly insignificant place, just a few miles away from his apartment. But something about it feels wrong. The address leads to a rundown building in the middle of an industrial area, far from any place he would expect to find answers. Why would someone want him to go there? The thought of stepping into the unknown fills him with dread. But Alex knows he has no choice. If there's a chance that the message is real, if there's even a small chance that the truth lies in that abandoned building, then he has to go. He can't let fear stop him now. He gathers his things, his heart pounding in his chest. The building looms ahead of Alex as he pulls up to the address in his car. It's more decrepit than he expected. Graffiti covering the walls, broken windows, and an eerie silence surrounding the place. The streetlights flicker, casting an unsteady light over the empty street. Alex's car door opens with a soft creak, and he steps out onto the cracked pavement, his breath visible in the cold night air. He can hear nothing except the sound of his own footsteps echoing through the desolate street. His phone buzzes again. The message: "It's not too late. Hurry." A shiver runs through Alex as he looks around. This is no coincidence. He feels a deep sense of unease, but he's too far in to turn back now. He starts walking toward the entrance, each step heavier than the last. The darkness around him seems to swallow him whole, and the silence is deafening. Every instinct in his body screams for him to leave, but his curiosity, his need to find answers, outweighs the fear. He reaches for the door, hesitates, then pushes it open, the rusty hinges creaking loudly in the stillness. The inside of the building is just as eerie as the outside. Old furniture is strewn about, and the smell of mildew hangs in the air. The dim light from Alex's phone is the only source of illumination, casting long shadows against the cracked walls. His footsteps echo in the emptiness as he moves deeper into the building. He feels like he's being watched, but he can't see anyone. The sense of isolation is overwhelming. His phone buzzes again. A new message: "You're closer than you think." Alex's heart races. He's not sure if it's the building or the message that's making him feel paranoid. Everything feels wrong, and yet the need to uncover the truth keeps him moving forward. As he reaches the far end of the building, Alex spots a door partially ajar. His pulse quickens. The door looks out of place, almost like it's waiting for him. He hesitates, then pushes it open, revealing a small, dimly lit room. Inside, there's a desk with a laptop and a chair, and on the desk, an envelope. His name is written on it, in bold, black letters. With shaking hands, Alex reaches for the envelope, the tension building as he slowly pulls it open. Alex spends hours in front of his laptop, the glow of the screen his only company. He dives deeper into the dark corners of the internet, where few dare to tread. His fingers fly over the keys, each search leading to darker places. The words "dark web" appear on the screen again, as if mocking him. His mind races with fear and curiosity. Was this what he was meant to find? The rabbit hole only grows deeper as he uncovers disturbing forums, strange marketplaces, and digital whispers. It's not just about the message anymore. It's about finding the truth. But the deeper he goes, the more lost he feels. Each click brings more disjointed information, and his thoughts begin to blur. Was it all orchestrated? Were the people behind the messages controlling him all along? There's no turning back now. His screen flickers with a sudden image, something that feels like a warning. Someone is watching him. His pulse quickens, and the weight of paranoia crashes down on him. He knows now that he's in too deep, and the only way out is through. Alex's search leads him to a chilling discovery. One of the forums he stumbles upon is not just a place for online criminals. It's a digital marketplace where personal information is sold like commodities. His stomach churns as he realizes that his own data, his name, his address, and even his private conversations have been sold to the highest bidder. He feels the walls of his world closing in. He's not just a victim of an anonymous hacker anymore. He's part of a larger, far more dangerous game. As the screen continues to load, a new image pops up. It's a photograph of him, taken from an angle he knows all too well, his face caught off guard in a vulnerable moment. Someone has been watching him. The realization hits him hard, and he stumbles back in his chair, his heart pounding. This is no longer a digital conspiracy. This is his life being manipulated. The faceless entity behind all this is one step ahead of him, and they know more than they should. Panic sets in as Alex frantically tries to close the window, but it won't budge. The digital marketplace continues to scroll through items, including more disturbing details about his life. His information, his identity, everything he thought was private, is now public property. He slams his laptop shut, but it feels like the damage is already done. His mind races. Who would do this? Who could have this much power over his life? He tries to calm himself, breathing deeply, but his hands are shaking. The phone on his desk buzzes, breaking the silence. A new message appears. It's from an unknown number. You're already in too deep. Alex's pulse spikes again. His instincts tell him to run, to leave everything behind, but his feet feel like they're stuck to the floor. The walls of his apartment feel suffocating. It's as if his life has been invaded by something far greater than he can understand. He's no longer just Alex. He's a pawn in a twisted game, and it's only a matter of time before the pieces move. Alex spends the next few hours in a daze, his mind spinning. The hours blur together as he compulsively checks his phone and laptop, looking for answers that seem just out of reach. Nothing makes sense anymore. The messages, the marketplace, the strange figure in the digital world, all of it is leading him down a path he never wanted to walk. In his panic, he contacts an old friend, Sarah, a tech-savvy hacker who had helped him years ago when his accounts were compromised. She answers the phone, and Alex immediately launches into a frenzied explanation. Her voice is calm, but there's an edge of concern as she listens. "Alex," she says, "this isn't just hacking. This is something bigger." She agrees to help him, but her words are laced with caution. "You're not just being watched," she tells him, "you're being targeted. Whoever is behind this is far more dangerous than we thought." Alex knows then that he's no longer just in danger of losing his identity. His life is on the line. The next day, Alex and Sarah meet at a small, discreet coffee shop. She's brought her own laptop, and as they sit down, the seriousness of the situation becomes all too clear. Sarah shows him a series of files, encrypted data that she's managed to uncover. The files are disturbing. They include surveillance footage, logs of Alex's online activity, and a collection of personal details. Everything from his bank transactions to his location data. "They've been watching you for weeks," Sarah explains. "And now, they're going to make their move." Alex stares at the screen, feeling sick. How could he have not noticed? How could someone have been tracking him so closely without him knowing? The weight of his own vulnerability hits him like a truck. Sarah's face is grave as she explains the next steps. They have to fight back, before it's too late. The following day, Alex and Sarah dig into the files Sarah had uncovered. As they sift through data, Alex's mind races. His life is unraveling, piece by piece. Every detail, every move he's made, has been tracked. "This isn't just about surveillance anymore," Sarah says, scanning the files. "This is a digital conspiracy. Someone, or something, is orchestrating all of this." Alex feels a cold knot in his stomach. He never realized how much of his life was vulnerable. Every personal detail, every search, every online purchase, was it all part of a larger scheme? They begin to see patterns emerging in the data. Some of the names and faces Alex had seen in the online marketplace were linked to a shadowy network, one that had infiltrated multiple lives before his. He's not alone in this nightmare. This isn't a random attack. Someone has chosen him, targeted him, and now he's caught in a web he can't escape. Sarah's voice cuts through the tension. "You've got to get ahead of this. We need to find who's behind it and why." But Alex is overwhelmed, uncertain of where to go next. The fear of being trapped gnaws at him as the full scope of the conspiracy begins to set in. As the day goes on, Alex's frustration grows. The more they dig, the more questions arise. Nothing makes sense, and every answer feels like a dead end. "This is bigger than we thought," Sarah says, rubbing her eyes as she scrolls through the data. Alex is getting desperate. He starts to feel like he's chasing shadows. "We have to get in deeper," Sarah insists, her voice steady but urgent. "There's a dark web of connections. If we're going to stop this, we need to understand who's pulling the strings." The search for answers leads them to a small hidden server in the network, a place where the most dangerous digital secrets are stored. It's encrypted beyond belief, and even Sarah's hacking skills are tested to their limits. As they break through the final layer of security, a shocking piece of information appears on the screen. It's a list of names, Alex's name among them, each person a victim in a much larger scheme. The realization hits. They're all connected, and the network is far more sinister than either of them had imagined. The discovery of the list sends Alex into a spiral. He feels the walls closing in around him, the weight of the digital world pressing down. He's just a pawn in a larger game, manipulated by forces he can't see or understand. Sarah insists that they track down one of the names on the list to get answers, but Alex hesitates. "What if they're still watching?" he asks, fear creeping into his voice. The paranoia is suffocating. Sarah reassures him. "If we don't act now, it's only going to get worse." Alex nods but remains uncertain. The truth is terrifying, but staying in the dark feels worse. They begin to track down one of the individuals on the list. As they follow the trail, they hit another roadblock, a dead end. But then, a clue surfaces. A connection to a network of digital criminals, one that's been running under the radar for years. This is not just about hacking, it's about control, manipulation, and a much larger conspiracy that has entangled them all. The deeper they go, the more they uncover. Alex's mind races as the pieces start to fall into place. This is no random attack, it's a well-coordinated operation. The digital criminals behind it all are much smarter, much more dangerous than they initially thought. "We're up against something bigger than just hackers," Sarah admits, her voice grim. "This is organized." As they trace the criminal network, they uncover a disturbing connection to powerful figures, people in positions of authority who have turned a blind eye to the digital underworld. This isn't just about stolen data anymore. It's about power, influence, and manipulation at the highest levels. Alex's stomach sinks as he realizes how deep this goes. The people behind this aren't just looking for money, they're looking for control, and Alex is caught right in the middle. "We need to act fast," Sarah says, determination in her voice. "Before they know we're onto them." But as Alex looks at the files, he realizes just how much he has to lose. Alex's heart pounds as Sarah continues to uncover more details about the criminal network. He feels like a pawn, caught in a game that he never signed up for. "We can't let them win," Alex says, his voice tight with resolve. "We have to stop them." But the road ahead is unclear. Each discovery raises more questions than answers. The information on the screen reveals a global operation, with players in several countries. They've been tracking Alex not just because of his data, but because he's part of a much larger plan. The feeling of being hunted grows stronger with every step they take. Sarah warns Alex that time is running out. The people behind the network will stop at nothing to cover their tracks, and they're already onto them. With no time to waste, they make the decision to confront the dark web head-on. "We fight now, or we never get another chance," Sarah says, her eyes fierce. Alex nods, determined to take back control. But deep down he knows that this confrontation will change everything. Alex and Sarah are deep into their investigation, now tracking down the origin of the criminal network. They've uncovered more files, more data, but every piece of information only leads them further into the shadows. This isn't just digital manipulation, this is organized. "These people have been operating for years," Sarah says, frustration evident in her voice. Alex's mind races as the truth begins to take shape. This isn't some rogue hacker. This is a network with connections across the globe, targeting people like him for something much bigger. As they follow the trail, they realize it's not just about stealing personal information. There's a purpose behind it. They start connecting the dots between the victims on the list, all of whom have been linked to high-profile cases of corporate espionage, financial manipulation, and even political corruption. Alex begins to feel like a small cog in a much larger machine. "They knew we'd come for them," Alex mutters, his voice shaky. Sarah's face is set in determination. "It's time to stop running," she says. "The game is changing, and they're no longer just playing catch-up. Now they're part of the chase." As they follow the trail of digital breadcrumbs, they come across a surprising connection, one that Alex didn't expect. A familiar name appears, his former colleague, Daniel. Daniel had been one of the people Alex trusted most in the past, someone who helped him get his foot in the door at his previous job. The connection shakes Alex to his core. He never imagined that someone he worked so closely with could be involved in something so dangerous. "It's him," Alex says, his voice trembling. "Daniel's one of them." Sarah is already on the phone, trying to trace any recent activity linked to Daniel. As the investigation deepens, the truth becomes more unsettling. Daniel isn't just another victim in this network. He's an active participant, someone who's been orchestrating events behind the scenes. He knew about the scheme from the beginning, Sarah explains, her eyes narrowing. And now he's trying to cover his tracks. The realization hits Alex hard. He's been betrayed by someone he once trusted. Now, they have to make a choice: confront Daniel directly, or keep digging for the answers they desperately need. Alex and Sarah decide to confront Daniel. They track him down to an isolated warehouse on the outskirts of the city. The place looks abandoned, with overgrown plants creeping up the walls, and the entrance is locked tight. But Sarah is already working on cracking the security system. "This is it, Alex," she says, her voice low but steady. "We either walk away, or we go all in." Alex hesitates, his heart pounding in his chest. He knows there's no going back. If Daniel's behind this, then everything Alex thought he knew about his past, his job, and his life is a lie. "Let's finish this," Alex says, his voice filled with determination. They break in, and the dark, cold interior of the warehouse is only lit by the faint light from Sarah's phone. The atmosphere is tense. Each step forward feels like a descent into the unknown. As they move through the space, they hear a faint noise. Someone is inside. Their breath catches as they realize they're not alone. Inside the warehouse, Alex and Sarah move cautiously through the shadows. The faint sound of footsteps echoes in the distance, and the tension is almost unbearable. Suddenly, Daniel appears from the darkness, a cold smile spreading across his face. "I knew you'd come," he says, his voice dripping with mockery. Alex's anger surges, but Sarah holds him back, signaling him to stay calm. "Why, Daniel?" Alex demands, his voice cracking with betrayal. "Why were you part of this?" Daniel's smirk fades, replaced with a dark, calculating look. "You were always too naive, Alex," he says, his voice low and dangerous. "This was never about you. It's bigger than you ever realized. I didn't want you to get involved, but now, you're too deep to back out." Alex's mind races as the pieces finally click together. Daniel is not just a cog in the wheel, he's a mastermind orchestrating it all. The digital nightmare Alex thought he was fighting against was only a small part of Daniel's plan. "This ends tonight," Alex says, his voice filled with finality. The confrontation escalates quickly. Daniel's words cut deep, but Alex knows he can't back down. He's not the same person he was when this all started. "You don't control me anymore, Daniel," Alex says, his voice firm. "I'll take you down if it's the last thing I do." The air crackles with tension as Sarah moves to flank Daniel, her phone in hand, ready to take down any security systems he might have left. "You think you're the hero in this story?" Daniel scoffs, pulling out a device from his jacket. "I control the game. You're just a pawn." But as Daniel's fingers hover over the device, Sarah quickly steps in, disabling the device with a few keystrokes. The smirk on Daniel's face falters. Alex lunges forward, determined to take back control. The final showdown begins. There's no turning back. They've come this far, and now it's time to finish it. After their confrontation with Daniel, Alex and Sarah are left in a whirlwind of emotions. They finally expose the dark network that's been controlling their lives, but the victory feels hollow. The aftermath of their actions weighs heavily on them. "We've taken down one player, but the system is still in place," Sarah says, her voice tinged with exhaustion. Alex runs a hand through his hair, pacing back and forth. "What happens now?" he asks. His mind is a storm of thoughts. What is the true cost of their actions? They've ruined Daniel's life, but did they stop the network? Or did they just set themselves up for even greater danger? "We might have won this battle, but there's more to do," Sarah answers. "There's no easy way out. The real fight is just beginning." The air between them is heavy with unspoken tension as they try to process the consequences of their choices. It feels like everything is on the verge of falling apart, and yet neither of them can walk away. They both know that their involvement in this digital war has no clear ending. "We go after the next layer," Sarah says, determination in her eyes. Alex knows she's right, but the weight of their actions still clings to him. He looks at her, his voice shaky. "Do you think we can survive this?" Alex and Sarah sit together, reviewing the final evidence they've uncovered. The network they've been fighting against is vast and intricate, but there's a new sense of clarity in their strategy. They know what they need to do next, but they also understand the risks involved. "We've exposed the first layer, but there's no telling how deep this goes," Sarah says, flipping through a series of files. Alex looks up, his eyes steady, the fear that once clouded his thoughts replaced by a grim determination. "We finish it," Alex responds, his voice cold and resolute. "We take down the whole system. We can't leave anyone else exposed." But the truth hangs heavy in the air. The more they uncover, the more they realize the personal cost of their pursuit. Sarah nods, but her face betrays a hint of doubt. "Taking them down is going to come with consequences," she warns. Alex's response is firm. "If we don't, we let them keep doing this to others." They both understand the stakes now, but as the weight of their mission sinks in, they also realize that whatever they do, there will be no going back. They're too far in, and the road ahead is dark and uncertain. The next phase of their plan requires going deeper into the heart of the network. Alex and Sarah begin tracking down the key players who have remained hidden in the digital world. As they dig, they uncover more secrets, hidden identities, encrypted communications, and black market deals. It's a labyrinth, and the further they go, the more dangerous it becomes. "They're covering their tracks better than we expected," Sarah says, frustration creeping into her voice. "But we're close, Alex. We can feel it." Alex is exhausted, but there's a fire in his eyes. He's committed now, driven by a sense of justice that overrides his fear. "We've come this far," he says, clenching his fists. "We finish it. We bring them all down." But as they continue their investigation, a sense of unease settles over Alex. The more they uncover, the more it seems like the network is anticipating their every move. It's as if they've been one step ahead the entire time. What if they've been watching us? Alex wonders aloud, his voice tinged with suspicion. Sarah doesn't respond immediately, her eyes scanning the data on the screen. "We're too close now. We can't stop," she finally says. But the doubt in her voice is evident. The digital world they've entered is more dangerous than either of them could have imagined, and they both know the risks are growing. As they approach the final stage of their investigation, Alex and Sarah are faced with the ultimate challenge: expose the core of the network and bring it to the surface. They've gathered enough evidence, but there's a catch. To fully shut down the operation, they need to infiltrate a high-security server, a server that's heavily guarded by digital fortifications. "This is it, Alex," Sarah says, her voice steady but with an underlying hint of concern. "If we do this, there's no turning back. They'll know we've been here." Alex is quiet for a moment, then nods. "We can't let them win," he replies, determination hardening his voice. They know what they're about to do is dangerous. The last layer of security is the hardest to break, and they'll be exposed once they make their move. But there's no other choice. With one final glance at each other, they prepare to breach the server. "We've got one shot at this," Sarah says, fingers hovering over her keyboard. "We take it, or we fail." The pressure is immense, and as they begin the final phase of their plan, Alex feels the weight of the situation pressing down on him. This is their last chance, and failure isn't an option. The server cracks open. No. Alex and Sarah's hearts race as they breach the final layer of security. But just as they're about to access the core of the network, a message flashes across the screen. "You've made a grave mistake." Alex's stomach drops. The message isn't from a human, it's from an automated system. They've been set up. Suddenly, alarms begin to blare, both in the digital space and in the real world. "It's a trap," Sarah says, her voice urgent. "We need to get out, now." But as they try to pull back, the system starts fighting back, locking down their access. Alex and Sarah scramble to cover their tracks, but the clock is ticking. Their plan has failed, and now they're left with no choice but to escape before the network catches up with them. We've lost, haven't we? Alex says, his voice filled with regret. Sarah's face hardens as she types furiously. Not yet, she says, the fire in her eyes still burning. They might have failed this time, but the fight is far from over. Alex and Sarah are cornered, the trap closing around them. We've got to escape before they lock us in, Sarah says urgently, eyes darting between screens. Alex feels the weight of their actions. I can't run anymore. They break through a final layer of encryption, but it's a race against time. The network's retaliation is swift, and everything they've fought for hangs by a thread. The connection is severed, and the alarms blare. They know we're here. Alex exclaims. Panic surges. We can't stay here, Sarah warns. They make a desperate dash for the exit. Every second counts as the digital world they've been fighting to expose fights back harder. Their escape is uncertain. Outside they find brief respite, but the digital war isn't over. They won't stop coming after us, Sarah says, her voice filled with resolve. Alex nods. We're just getting started. The weight of their choices hangs heavy, but they know they can't stop. They regroup, gathering everything they need for the next phase of their mission. The final pieces of the puzzle start to align. We know what we have to do, Sarah says, as Alex reviews the encrypted files they retrieve. The truth is out there, and it's bigger than they imagine. This isn't just about stopping them anymore, Alex says, his voice cold with purpose. It's about making sure they never do this again. Alex and Sarah prepare for their final confrontation with the network. They know the stakes are higher than ever, but there's no turning back. This ends now, Alex says with finality. Sarah agrees. We'll do what it takes. They gather their equipment and head into the heart of enemy territory. No matter the cost, they're ready to fight for the truth. Alex and Sarah infiltrate the heart of the network. We're almost there, Sarah whispers. Tension fills the air as they bypass security. Alex feels his heart pounding. No more running, he mutters. They break through the final layer, facing their enemies directly. The battle has come full circle, and nothing can prepare them for what's about to unfold. The confrontation with the mastermind behind the network begins. You think you can stop this? The antagonist sneers. Alex's voice is unwavering. This ends now. The room pulses with tension as the mastermind reveals their true motives. The digital war escalates. Sarah begins hacking into their system to shut it down. As Sarah breaks into the system, the antagonist grows desperate. You have no idea what you're up against, they warn. Alex steps forward, eyes burning with anger. I don't need to understand it. I just need to stop you. The final battle begins, both physical and digital. They fight on two fronts, one with code, the other with force. The mastermind attempts to escape, triggering self-destruct protocols. You've lost, the antagonist says, grinning. Alex rushes forward, determined to prevent the destruction. Not yet, he retorts. With moments to spare, Sarah disables the countdown, ensuring the network's destruction. The room goes silent, save for their breathing. With the network finally dismantled, Alex and Sarah share a moment of silence. We did it, Sarah says, her voice steady but exhausted. Alex nods, the weight of their victory settling in. It's over, he says, though he knows it will never truly be over. Their battle may have ended, but the consequences will echo in their lives forever.